In today's Cricut tutorial, we're going to take this acrylic blank to create this very cute Christmas sign. Let's make this. The inspiration for this is abundant. Acrylic blanks are being used all over the Cricut world at this time of the year. It is so much fun because they're can be so personalized and you can do whatever you like. So I've got an acrylic board. You can see here that there's lots of different ways you can decorate these. There are, like I'm going to do, is how many days till Christmas, but there's also stop here Santa. It could be a sign for your family. There's a whole heap of different ways that you can decorate acrylic boards for Christmas. The materials you'll need for today's project are a standard grip mat, some adhesive vinyl. I've just got my scrap adhesive folder, but you can use any vinyl that you've got, as well as an acrylic sign board thing blank. I got mine from, I think, AT Blanks Australia, but you could get yours at Kmart. You can get them from any online acrylic retailer. I'm going to do today's project all in Design Space. I'm going to start by creating a shape for our acrylic board. So I'm just creating, I've clicked the unlock button, it's a square. I've clicked the unlock button and I'm doing a 14x7 width and a 21 height. Then I'm just going to go up to that basic cut menu and I'm going to change it to a guide. I love it. I love the guide because it means I don't have to worry about deleting it and having a big square there that I have to cut. And then I'm going to go into images and I'm just going to look for Christmas images. I'm not sure what my vibe is going to be for this one, but all I'm looking for is free Christmas images. And my favourite Santa hat, I've used this a couple of times. I'm not sure if I've done it on projects for YouTube, but I've definitely used this Santa hat a few times. I really like it. I like the slouch. I love a slouch of a Santa hat. And then the next thing I'm going to do is create a circle. So the idea is that hat is going to then kind of have a face shape, essentially. Obviously we're looking at Santa, but this is not necessary. I'm just doing it to create a focal point. So I've got a circle which I've made about 8.5 centimeters, and then I'm doing a negative offset. So the reason I'm doing a negative offset is because then I can choose both the offset and the subtract button, click slice or subtract, combine subtract, and then it just becomes a circle. So that's a really easy way of creating a ring, because Design Space don't offer you a ring in shapes, but it's because I think it's just so easy to do that. And you can do that with squares, you can do it with circles, you can do it with hex, any shape that they've got, any solid shape, you can do a negative offset and then you've got a hollow shape. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to manipulate that circle so that it's not a layer situation. So I don't want the hat to go over the top of the circle and have like ridges. I want it to be a solid circle with the parts taken out so that when you put it down, it doesn't have any bumpy components. So I'm going to duplicate the Santa hat, and then I'm going down to the contour button because what I want to do is get rid of both of the gaps. So the one in the pom-pom and the one at the top of the hat. The reason I want to get rid of them is because if I try and do a slice with that circle, I'm going to end up with parts of the circle that you can see, parts that you can't. It's messy. But if I do a full hat, then I choose the circle and the full hat, I click slice, you can now see that I've now got just the Santa hat, so I can get rid of the solid Santa hat. And then my circle is a part of a circle, but it doesn't show underneath the white part of the hat. I hope that makes sense. If it didn't, go back and slow down what I did, because that's the hardest bit of this activity. Otherwise, the rest is basic because we're just doing text. Now, the last bit is me just adding some text. So I've got, I'm going to say days until. So it's going to go days until. So inside the circle, We're going to write the number with a whiteboard marker or a glass pen or something like that. And then we're going to have days until, and I've chosen a Christmas Cove font that I downloaded a while ago. If you go back to many of my clips, you can see that I've used 1001 fonts a lot in the past for my font. So that's where I would have got Christmas Cove from. So I'm going to have days until, and then in a script font, I'm going to write the word Christmas. So like I said, it's pretty straightforward. If you wanted to download another Christmassy kind of font, you can do whatever you like. But I know that I've got some script fonts here, and Fair Prosper is one of my go-tos. So I'm going to make sure it's a capital C, and then I'm going to move it over to my acrylic. Now I'm going to make sure that I select all of the components and I want to align them so that they are centered vertically, not centered in the middle. I want to align them all center horizontal. Hang on, what am I doing? Center horizontally. So now they're all in line. And then what I do want to do now is you can see that until and Christmas cross over each other. So I want to do a little bit of a offset around the words days until and then do a slice. The reason I want to do that is because, again, same with the hat and the circle, I don't want any ridges or bumps when I place it over the top. So by using a offset and a slice, I actually get a gap between the L and the T. And it's really, really helpful to do that. I'm going to do a 0.15 offset around the words days until. Then I'm going to select the offset and the word Christmas. I'm going to click slice. I'm going to delete the offset and the two slice results that aren't the word Christmas. And now you can see that between the L and the T on until and Christmas, there is now a gap, which means that I'll be able to place it straight down on my acrylic without any ridges or any bumps, and it'll just fit nicely in there. I really like that component of it because it does just make things a little bit cleaner and a little bit nicer. Then I'm going to save it. This is not something that's taken a lot of time, but this is something you could make a number of, or you could see that your family liked it one Christmas at this Christmas, and next year you might want to make everyone one. It's up to you. And also things like just switching out the hat and stuff like that might be really easy. You could do this for lots of different holidays, so you could just keep using this file over and over again for all the different holidays. So once I've hit save, I'm then going to go to make, and I'm going to choose vinyl. Now you can see that I've separated all of these parts out. I've made them all black because I'm using scrap vinyl. I don't want to be doing 4 different kinds of mats for this because it's not a very big project. So all I've done is separate them each to their 4 corners. Then I go to continue, and then I'm going to choose vinyl. Now I'm using a lot of Cricut vinyl for this because I've got lots of it lying around that I want to get rid of, and these are the kinds of projects that I love just using it for. So I'm going to just put extra pressure on it. The Cricut vinyl is a little bit thicker, and I've talked about the backing is a lot thicker, but I just want to make sure that it does cut all the way through. So I'm just going to choose vinyl, and then I'm going to go more pressure. All right, so I'm going to try and do this in as real time as possible because I just want to show you how easy it is. So it just took 10 minutes and probably could have taken a bit less time, but I've fiddled around on Design Space. But I just want to see if I can make this a 20-minute craft, okay? Because when we're coming up to Christmas, we don't want things to be time-consuming, but we still want them to look pretty good. So I've just grabbed my isopropyl So it's rubbing alcohol from Coles. And then I've just rubbed that down. Now, I'm going to do the tiniest little squirts of my detergent and water mix. So this is using the wet method for our application. Now, this isn't a two-sided activity. Like, we're not going to be looking at the back side of this, but sometimes you can see the bubbling on top. So I just wanted to avoid that. So place this down, just grab my squeegee. I want to get this down as tough as possible. Now I'm using, and I've said it before, I don't love it, but these are these little times where I can use the Cricut Smart Vinyl and use it up. So if you've been following along for a while, when I first got my Cricut, as most of us probably do, we go out and buy everything that we need, and we think that, well, if it's a Cricut branded thing and I really love my machine, then obviously the Cricut vinyl is going to be the best. But for most of us, I don't think that's true. I actually know it's not true. So the reason I don't like it is because it can be really hard to get off the backing. Now that obviously, because it's a big piece, was quite straightforward. But when I get to the days until, so this bit, I'm a little worried. But anyway, so squeegee as much of the water out as possible. And let's hope that when I lift it, it'll stay down. Again, because this is a bigger piece. Yeah, no, not true. I was going to say, because it's a bigger piece, it might be a bit better. But no. So I really love these squeegees here, the ones that have got the felt on it, especially when you're doing things on acrylic, because you've got less fear. I'm not saying it's a zero chance, but I've got less fear of scratching my acrylic. So you can see I'm just holding it down as I pull back my transfer tape, and then doing a little swipe, because then I'm getting the liquid out from underneath. Again, great for this felt. I got this from, I think I got these from Shein or Timo or something. All right, so first bit is the hat. So I'm going to start, I'm going to go top down. Hopefully I've got Christmas will fit. That's my only worry, but we'll see how we go. Now you can't really see my circle here because it's it's white on white. Now you could have done your colouring however you liked. This could have been an elf thing. If you've got different flesh coloured vinyl, that would probably be a good idea too. But I've got to fit this in. Now, you're looking over the top, but I've got to somehow get my head in. So if my head is in your way, I'm really sorry, but I'm trying to get it so that it fits in. I'm going to have to shuffle. Kind of looks like Santa's beard in the white, doesn't it? Again, that's just the colour I had. And I'm not even convinced I needed the circle, but I just like the idea of the circle being there. Oh, I think I made it fit. I like the idea of the circle being there because it gives you somewhere to write and keeps the design, I don't want to say pure, but it keeps the design contained. That's a better word. So again, just pressing down. I've still got a little bit of the water from before. So each time I put this transfer tape, it's lifting up some of that water from the initial. See, there's a little bubble in there. That's what I mean. See, I got most of the water came up, and then I end up with a kerfuffle. It's not a disaster by any means, but it's not great. Okay. Now, can just give you a little push, little poke, create a little hole. So I could have done that with a needle as well. And that should rid of that bubble. All right. So that's where we would write down the how many days we've got. So it's December 1st today. This won't drop until the 6th, so I know I'm a little bit late on this, but hopefully you've got enough time to put this little sign in place. And you know what? Who cares if it's not 24 days before? Who's complaining? So that should fit perfectly. What I might do though is I might put the words Christmas down first. The word Christmas, not the words, the word Christmas down first, just to help with my alignment. Now, have I got a piece of transfer tape big enough for the whole word? Yep, just. Oh my goodness, how good's that? If you can see, that's the end of the transfer tape there, and that's the end of the transfer tape there. All right. Now, we'll see how this one lifts. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan because it's so stiff. See? And it does. It lifts straight away. And I really do believe it's the backing paper. I don't think that it's got a lot to do with many other... Like, the vinyl sticks fine. Like, when it's down, it never comes back up again. It's not that kind of... Doesn't have that dodginess to it. It is honestly this backing tape that's so hard and stiff that it just, like, I have to fold it. Look at it. I've had to fold it to get it to work properly. See, yuck. Shouldn't have to do that. It should just peel off. Anyway, I can keep complaining about it, but I don't think Cricut are listening to me. So if there's anyone out there that Cricut does listen to, please tell them I hate it. Hate the backing. And look, I haven't bought Cricut vinyl for so long that maybe they have changed their backing since, but I don't think so. All right, so trying to line this up so it's fairly straight. And then again, rub it down. I hope my voiceover has worked all right. I got a new phone, so my quality of video is better, but the microphone I had an adapter that's for my old phone. And I thought I was going to be really clever and do a little hack and just buy the adapter, but it seems like the adapter doesn't work. So not overly impressed with that situation at the moment. Didn't really want to have to buy a new microphone, but that's what I get for not having one that's Bluetooth, I suppose. But anyway, all right, so Christmas. I wish I had some more shimmery stuff in my scraps, but in the which way will I go? In the attempt to get rid of this vinyl that I've got, and this is a thing that comes out once a year. I hope it'll come out every year. I actually think I'm going to like it. Again, look. So this is the thinner text. I am worried about how that's going to pull up, but it looks like it's doing all right. Okay, I was wrong. It worked, but still don't love it. I'm not changing my mind. All right, so I've got this little gap here that we created using our offset and then a slice. That's where the L has to fit. So I just need to line it up so that the L's in the middle. I reckon I probably just did too big of a thing, but that's all right. No matter. Oh, I feel like I've put this on an angle. Is it on an angle? I hope not. All right. All right. I reckon this is going to be actually quite cute. If I had kids, I would absolutely be all over this. I mean, I love Christmas, so counting down to Christmas is good. There's many reasons, you know, Christmas holidays and things like that, but I just like the magicalness about it, the magic about it. I put my lights up the other day, so I'm at that point now that the lights are up. So we put them up early. I usually never do it before the 1st of December, but I've got a Christmas market this weekend, and so there was not a great deal of time to really prepare. The house inside is not done at all. Now you can see here that I've got some bubbling at the back here. Now, if we were doing this as a two-sided thing, I would absolutely make sure I'm getting rid of those bubbles, but you can't really see them on top. And, oops, this way. You can't really see them on top, and we're not doing anything on the back there. How adorable is it? I actually really like this. All right, if you don't think this is a cute Christmas activity, then you're the Grinch, because this is adorable. I just used a Posca pen to write the number. I think a silver probably would have been better, but I can change it tomorrow. The Posca will come off with Windex. I had to Google before I jumped onto it. Otherwise, you can also use glass pens, whiteboard marker. All those things will be fantastic. But how cute is it? I would, if I wanted to, you could change it to a Halloween thing. It could be a birthday thing. You can change the hat. So you could change it to an elf hat. You could change this to an actual face if you wanted to, rather than just having it as a circle. But I think this is fantastic. This is a great one if you're a beginner. If you get a Cricut just before Christmas so you can make your own little decorations, this would be a great one to start with. It does a little bit of slicing, some contouring and some offsetting. But apart from that, straightforward, easy. And acrylic is one of those ones that you do need to practice to make sure you don't get the bubbling in it. So a great one. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and I can't wait to see you next week for my final market vlog for the year. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget, you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below.